I'm not gonna lie, I'm about to have my Charlie Day moment. So back in the 1940s, the world saw a big surge of new nations coming into light. And by the 60s, the world started to look a little more like this. Here's what happened. After Hitler killed himself before the world could explain to him that killing all the Jews is not the best idea, the world got split into two kinds of global superpowers. The ones that went broke tie-dyeing their beaches, and the ones that got to loot the leftover Nazi gold, technology, and art, I guess? Anyways, I guess the US got a little too excited about the war because they were really bummed out all the action was over by the time they crossed the Atlantic. So they thought, oh, we should try these extinction bombs that we've developed using German scientists on Japan. I bet they feel left out all the way on the other side of the world as well. So then, a bunch of countries looked at each other and thought, whoa, this technology is crazy. What if someone decides to be bad? So the United States found a new mustache model to vilify, and the USSR decided that capitalism might be the worst idea anyone's ever had since Napoleon tried invading Russia in the winter. Twice. But instead of nuking each other to oblivion, they decided they're just gonna stay really tense and make everyone super uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Britain and France went broke trying to colonize everyone that didn't have the complexion of a snowman, while simultaneously trying to calm down an angry white man that thought genocide is the only way he can fix his country. So all the colonies went, hey, I think we're good now, we'd kinda like to run our own shit, maybe? And then all these countries formed. So in 1961, these five handsome gentlemen got together in Yugoslavia and formed NAM, the Non-Aligned Movement. Basically, India, Egypt, Yugoslavia, Ghana, Indonesia, and these countries decided that it's going to take them quite some time to recover from the damages caused in the war for which white man is overcompensating for the smallest dick. Basically, NAM was formed by countries wanting to maintain the peace by not getting consumed by the conflicts of global superpowers. The following decades would involve some crazy espionage and political buffoonery. The United States decided they're going to spend the next couple of decades perfecting the art of monetizing hate crimes against minorities to fund toppling South and Central American regimes so they'd agree that communism is bad. Meanwhile, the USSR decided that capitalism is so bad they're gonna double down on communism and make sure everyone starves equally too. See, we formed NAM because countries all over the world decided that they need the protection of neutrality to stay out of white people nonsense. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, Ghana had spent the last century being drained for gold and scrutinized by people that I can only imagine at the time looked like ghosts with guns, and India had spent the last couple of centuries slowly realizing that British people are crazy about spices and regretting ever giving them a hit. So it makes sense that these guys would get together and protect their nations by declaring neutrality through the non-aligned movement. All in all, NAM seems like a good idea, right? Well, there's no denying the merit of the formation of NAM. It was a much-needed gesture in the face of a world that was 400 black people in Alabama being given syphilis away from starting an arms trade across the Atlantic designed to topple fresh countries. But this was a solution in the 1960s. Things are, well, different now. Here's my 2 cents on the matter. Neutrality is a great tool for the underdog that's getting crushed in the battle of giants, like a kid whose parents are asking him who he would side with in a divorce, or when J. Cole decided he's not gonna get caught up in the Drake-Kendrick beef. But let's take a look at the main 5 principles of NAM, especially that third one: mutual non-interference in domestic affairs. In today's day and age, are we still protecting ourselves from the bad guys? Or has it become convenient to stay out of their dick-swinging contest? Because as long as we stay out of external affairs, it's our politicians that get to decide for us who the bad man is. Without understanding the world around us, how can we expect to understand our very own neighbors?
Good job, Israel Army. Good job, my brothers.
Tiny Blue Whale will be back with more summer school content.